Welcome to Our Devil. Today we are taking a look at r/am I the antagonist. Our first story is from Throw RA 3,224,577. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister that she overreacted when screamed at me for entering hers and her husband's room? So, I, female 23, I'm a full-time college student. Right now I'm living with my sister, Claire, and her husband, Thomas, while I get through my current semester. I don't work, so I don't have everything I need for my daily skin/hair routine, so I borrow stuff from Claire. Claire didn't have an issue in the beginning but then started complaining about me randomly walking into her room, but I go in there looking for the stuff I asked for. She gave me a hard time just because I walked in on Thomas half naked to get the eyeshadow I borrowed from her. And then that other time when I walked in late at night. She told me I needed to get her permission to enter the room before I take anything, but I figured this would make things complicated. It's enough that I have to ask to borrow an item. So, last night at around 10 p.m. I went upstairs and into her bedroom to grab the hairdryer. I walked it and whoops. I saw them in an intimate position. Together in bed. I had no idea they were doing it. Especially since Claire told me that Thomas has been feeling sick the past 2 days. She lashed out at me yelling that I get out. I quickly grabbed the hairdryer, then walked out and shut the door. Minutes later, she came downstairs in her robe and went off on me saying she was done with me repeatedly disrespecting and violating hers and her husband's privacy. I told her it was cool. No big deal. And that I needed the dryer but didn't have time to ask for permission. She got even louder saying I had no business barging into her marital space and embarrassing her and her husband like this. I told her that I was sorry, but she really overreacted to this whole thing. This made her more pissed. She went on about how I'm living here rent-free and yet not being respectable enough. I stopped arguing and went to my room. This morning, Thomas left the house early. Claire ignored me on breakfast. Still upset, saying I don't get to say whether she overreacted or not. And that my behavior was inappropriate. She even wants me to apologize to her husband for making last night awkward. Comment by OMG bad mofo. You are the antagonist. Oh, my god. So badly the awe. You're lucky enough to be housed by your sister and her partner rent-free. And get to use her things for free. And you can't even respect the rules that you're not allowed in their bedroom. I'd have kicked you out for your entitled behavior. Comment by Dotted Unicorn. Info. When are you being told to move out by? Comment by Infinite Chopin. She told me I needed to get her permission to enter the room before I take anything, but I figured this would make things complicated. It's enough that I have to ask to borrow an item. It's not about you. She established a very reasonable boundary and you refuse to adhere to it. People are allowed to dictate who enters their personal space. Our next story is from Fragrant Letting 616. Am I the antagonist for not giving my fiancé any of the winnings to pay off her debt? I, 31 male, have been engaged to my current fiancé, 34 female, for 2 years. We are not rushing into getting married. My fiancé has been struggling with debt since she graduated with college. Her parents gave her a loan to help with paying some of the debt. Her biggest issue is that she loves to buy things that aren't necessary. What I didn't know was that she had 3 credit cards that she would use and they were already maxed out. She works as a registered nurse and uses most of her paycheck to pay off the debt. We decided to go on a vacation and decided to have some fun at a casino. I put in a reasonable amount and ended up winning a large jackpot. The money was enough to put towards some of the bills and mortgage. My fiancé kept begging me to use all of the money on her debt, and I told her that I had concerns about her going back into debt. She has been staying quiet and won't talk to me unless it's in regards to the money. When we got back home, we invited her parents over for dinner and she told them how much I won. Her parents were so happy and relived, and her mother asked if I was going to use the money on her debt. I explained to them that I was going to use the money towards the bills, mortgage, and paying off some of my car loan. I do love my fiancé. But I don't trust her with the money. I did deposit the money into my bank account. She did trash our entire room trying to find the money. Her family thinks that since I am going to be her husband that all my money should be hers. I feel that because I have my concerns about her going right back into debt, that I do not trust her with this large amount of money. Am I the antagonist for not giving my fiancé any of the winnings to pay off her debt? Comment by MD Thomas. Dude. I would seriously consider canceling the engagement. Not only does she have bad money habits. She trashed your room looking for the money? You know what that sounds like? An addict. Has she been evaluated for a shopping addiction? You're right to not want to pay off the debt for her. It sounds like she would just get right back into it. Comment by Livid Flan. Dude. She trashed your room in an attempt to steal money that is legally yours. Check your credit report and set an alert in case she feels entitled to your credit as well. And then run. Run like the wind. Comment by Filthy Casual 908. If she's trashing rooms like some sort of addict, it's time to cut ties. She cannot be trusted. She's obviously got financial issues like shopping addiction. You're not obligated to give her anything. Since you're not married, drop her. Not the antagonist. Our next story is from Am I the Antagonist since first GF? Am I the antagonist for telling my adult son to grow up and get over it? I am a 47-year-old woman with 2 grown children. Lila is 23 and Adam is 26. When Adam was 11, he had his first girlfriend, Jenna. It was a typical middle school relationship. They went to a few dances, went bowling together, things like that. It was very cute. It lasted about 5 months, and when they broke up, Adam sulked for a day before continuing on as normal. Jenna did hurt his feelings a bit by telling him the reason was, she didn't like kissing him, but he seemed to get over it quickly. Present day. Adam married his lovely wife about a year ago and they are expecting a child in November. Lila moved back home after college last year and started seeing Jenna about 7 months ago. Lila is in love. She's been open about being a lesbian since she was a freshman in high school, but she never showed much interest in anyone before Jenna. I am so happy to finally see her satisfied with that aspect of her life. Adam isn't. Though. He thinks it's weird that Lila is dating his ex-girlfriend. His main arguments are that it's tainting the memory of his first love and that Jenna hurt him when she broke up with him. Lila and Jenna have just signed a lease on their first apartment together and Adam is upping the dramatics now. He's called Lila a backstabber, disloyal and recently, a WH-re, and I've just about had enough. He's a married man, with a baby on the way. It is not healthy to focus on this. I could understand if it were a serious relationship. Even high school would be different. But they were honest to God children then. How could it possibly matter still? He insists it's not about harboring feelings, and I certainly believe that, but this obsession with preserving his nostalgia is ridiculous. I've told Adam that I will not tolerate this anymore, and if he chooses to continue behaving this way, I will have to start limiting my contact with him. He needs to let this go. Grow up and stop acting like he owned Jenna. He got very angry with me for choosing Lila, but I don't see it that way. I think I am choosing to protect my own sanity. Not choosing between my children. I asked some friends what they thought and I've gotten some mixed responses. 2/3 agree with me that Adam is overreacting, but one says she understands why Adam is upset. I enjoy lurking in this subreddit, so I thought I'd finally ask a question of my own. Am I the antagonist? Comment by Suitable Cod 1381. Well, he shouldn't take it personally that she didn't like kissing him now that he knows she's into women. If anything, that shows it wasn't personal. I can't imagine how weird this must be for his wife. For me, the idea of having hard feelings over someone I dated as a child is absurd. Comment by Traveling Techie. Not the antagonist, but the math doesn't add up. He dated her when 11, but now he's 12 and married. Checks notes. Oh. Comment by Electrical Treat 591. Not the antagonist. First love? They were literal children. And that was a long time ago. He has clearly moved on. Why isn't Jenna allowed to? Our next story is from Academic Try 4856. Am I the antagonist for refusing to get a tattoo of my late niece? So a while ago my sister, Mary, 30 female, lost her infant daughter. As a way to cope with her grief, she's decided to get a very large, photorealistic tattoo of the baby. And she's requested that everyone in our immediate family, my mom, my dad, my brother and me, do the same thing as a way to show support in this difficult time. Now, Of course the loss of the baby is a complete tragedy and I want to help Mary however I can. We've never gotten along, to be honest. But I recognize this is more important than our bad relationship, but I simply can't go through with the tattoo thing. For starters, I have a phobia of needles. And as I said, the tattoo is very large, so it's going to take several hours. If not several sessions. For sure. Secondly, Mary added some religious imagery to the design. She's a devout Catholic, and being an atheist, due to childhood trauma reasons that are neither here nor there, I simply do not feel comfortable having that on me. Lastly, my personal finances are not the best at the moment. And Mary expects us to pay out of pocket for the tattoo, which would cost more than I can afford. The baby was named after a flower, think something like rose, so I offered to get a small bouquet of that flower tattooed instead, as a way to still honor the baby and support Mary without having to get the large, expensive tattoo. Mary wasn't okay with this. In fact, she was very upset and called me selfish, saying that as a grieving mum her feelings have priority over mine and her baby was a beautiful little girl, so I should feel privileged to have the tattoo. And that I'm a horrible human being for arguing with her while she's mourning her child. Of course I understand her point of view. But I also don't feel like her loss, terrible as it is, gives her any right or say over my body. I discussed this with other people and reactions were mixed. My mum and dad think that it's not wrong to not want the tattoo. They confessed they don't want it either but are going to get it regardless, but that I should do it anyway to keep the peace and for Mary's sake. My bro supports me fully. Others think I'm TCH and a terrible sister. Am I the antagonist? Comment by Medium Resort 5225. Literally in no way, shape or form would you be an antagonist for refusing a tattoo. This is a hella weird request, right? Or am I trippin'? Comment by Obsessed Till Death. Why is anyone complying with this? If she wants a memorial tattoo, great. Go for it. But why the hell does everyone need to get one? Comment by Sixsons. I talk to people about tattoos for a living and I can honestly say this is one of the most baffling and inappropriate requests I've ever heard. What she's asking is deeply inappropriate, and needle phobia and religious symbolism aside, this is not something any of you should even be considering. Do not get this tattoo.